And so I think that it's in those moments of silence, or it's in those moments of togetherness with other people, to where, something that you may be struggling with, it's in just that letting go, is when you're like, whew, well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was, or here's a great idea to shift from that mindset, or how to get myself out of this hole. You didn't think about it. Something sent, whatever it may be, sent that to you, and you captured it.
Welcome to the first official Coffee and Words Ladies Night.
Ow, ow.
Woo! So I am going to introduce my team, because this is the first time the entire Coffee and Words team has been on the show. And so I've got Jill Lorraine Turpin, fabulous executive producer. Hello, Jill.
Hello.
And Karen Fox of Karen Fox Photography is in the house, and Cheryl Morgan, who is associate producer and really helps. She handles our guest relations and all of that wonderful stuff. Is just fantastic. And we have a very special guest. We have the one, the only Michael Shepard of Your Vibes.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah. Oh man. All right. Well, I'm going to take a sip of my tea here and just welcome you all. I'm so excited to have you all on the show at the same time. So the hope is that we can let people get to know the team and who we are at Coffee and Words, and just kind of who makes all of the magic happen. So, and Michael, we'll call you Shep. Everybody who knows you as Shep. You own Your Vibes Entertainment, and you're a facilitator of fun here in the community. But you have a really interesting job, and we're going to talk a little bit about your business and what you do here in a second. And we're going to get to all the fun in a minute. But I really want to talk to you about your work in the community, because you really get to work with local businesses and lots of different people in the community, and really get to bring together a lot of artistic and creative things. I know you work with the street festival, so you get to work with a lot of independent artists and makers and creators. And so tell me, what kind of impact on a community small businesses and artists and makers have, and how vital that is to, connectivity within the community.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, first off, my family's, I'm about fourth generation Dixon County, but I grew up in Bellevue, moved here in 2013. I had been a DJ since I was 15. Always enjoyed having a good time. It started with my sister's birthday party and kind of grew from there to a business that's been nonstop ever since. Took a little bit of a break when I had kids, but so I dove right in. I just said, hey, I don't think a DJ would work, but let's try some trivia. So we did. We tried trivia at Furnace, and it went well for a couple months, and then it just blew up. It just kind of became the thing on Main Street. We do it every Thursday, 7 to 9. And we've been doing it since 2019. So packed house every Thursday night. That quickly morphed into, well, let's try some karaoke. That went from that to doing karaoke twice a month to it being packed there. Everybody loves karaoke. I'd never done karaoke. I started a karaoke company. I can't even sing. And then I had a couple places ask me if I could do bingo. And that rolled into, I heard about this thing called Songo, which is musical bingo. And I think we've tried that at Pumphrey a couple times. Sunday afternoon, it's kind of hit or miss on how people are feeling. And it's pretty interactive. You got to kind of be paying attention a little bit for that one. But so I within that, all that happened within about a year and a half time span. And I've always been in the hospitality space, been a server, a bartender, or caterer, things like that. So I kind of understood just the industry in general and how to keep butts in the seat. That's the main goal for any sort of hospitality business, is get the butts there and keep them in the seat the whole time. And not only that, just keep them coming back. So, how do we do something that's replicable? You can make a system out of it. And even start delegating some of that work to other people as well, which I've done, and, with a couple aspects of it. But, and then as of last year, the networking portion kind of grew to me becoming the event coordinator of the Downtown Dixon Association, which is where the street festival came in and St. Patty's Day, and helped planned a good portion of Old Timers Day as well, and several other smaller festivals around and private gigs. But it really does my pitch on Dixon, my slogan is do it for Dixon. A lot of people are like, you're so busy, you do all this stuff for all these people. And I don't do it for myself. I don't necessarily do it just specifically for those people I do in that moment. But overall, the big picture is Dixon just in general. How do we make this thing continue to work? How do we continue the growth path, the projection that it's on without it getting out of control?
Yeah. And you get to work with a lot of the local businesses and locally owned businesses. So I know you've established a lot of relationships with the business owners around town and probably in the Middle Tennessee area, not just in Dixon. And for those that are not local to Tennessee, we are in various communities right outside of Nashville, all of us. And so how important are local businesses like that in the community and what they provide for the community and how you work with them?
Extremely important. It's what creates Dixon as a brand in general. We're 45 minutes west of Nashville, an hour south of Clarksville, an hour north of Columbia, and the last set of lights before Jackson. So we've got this just huge opportunity to really make something special. Everything starts with downtown. In any city whatsoever, everything's going to start. Downtown area is the heartbeat of any sort of county.
I think it's really interesting, what you're talking about, because I have this conversation a lot with one of my family members, my nephew, who is I don't even know if he's millennial or Gen Z, but he's younger. And he feels like people don't gather in the same way that maybe he imagines they used to. And I wonder, if that has changed. I feel like people still want to, but I do feel like it has been harder and harder to get people together. And I feel like what you're talking about, that lifeblood of a city, the lifeblood of a community, that downtown, those events, those times that you set aside your differences, those times that you just, enjoy being together. They're fewer and far between, and they're really important in making a community feel like they're cohesive, feel like they're together and they have an identity.
I agree. And to your point, back in the 90s, TikTok and Instagram and Facebook weren't really a thing. So no. I truly think that, alone in the sense of, we and at this moment are alone. We're not around each other. We're on Zoom, but this is how people are connecting. There's a shift going on of sorts of how do people connect. And I think that to your point on the arts, it's saddening for me to see my kids go to a private school specifically for this reason. I do everything I can to make that happen, but to see the arts being pulled out of a lot of public schools is sad, and music programs and things like that. It hurts because that is where a lot of children get their outlet. They may not be able to communicate or interact like they're quote unquote supposed to with other people, but their outlet is music. Their outlet is art. It's painting. It's something, and that could bring a community together of people just like that. But sometimes those kids don't know really how to express that, and they get addicted to their phones or video games, or video games not necessarily bad. You can make good money playing video games if you're good at it, but sometimes it does become this sense of just you're lost.
Oh, I was just going to say, we're talking about kids here, but I'm the only single one, I think, in the panel. And when I moved to Fairview from literally Nashville, dead center of Nashville in East Nashville, I knew no one, zero. And so, I found that there was karaoke on Friday nights, and I went, and I've become very good friends with those people that I met through karaoke. And then I saw that there was an arts council, and I'm like, I don't know these people, but I signed up to volunteer, and I was like, okay, maybe I can volunteer. I can meet some people and see if this is a place I'd like to, be involved with. And a year and a half later, I'm still involved. And these are some of my closest friends that, I hang out with on a regular basis. And so, it's there, that community is there. I think there are people that need it and crave it. And I think there are people that don't want it at all. And I'm one of those people that need it. I want to be around people. I get fed by people. I love meeting people and talking. And so having those places to go, I'm so excited to hear some of the things you're doing, Shep, because I'm now going to come to Dixon.
Cool.
It's not that far, but I didn't know that was going on. And so I'm excited to hear some of those things that I love to do and be able to, just enjoy being around people. And like you said, you might be at a karaoke night and there may not be space for everybody to sit down. Well, if there's a big table, I'm like, hey, can I grab this seat? Or if people come up and I'm like, hey, y'all can sit here, these seats aren't taken. And so you maybe end up being at a community table together and talking to someone you would have never met otherwise.
Absolutely.
That's a great point. Hey, yeah, ladies' night in person. We're all gonna go hunt Shep down and we'll do it. You touched on something, Shep, that I think sometimes maybe we don't think about, because talking about kids and phones, young people and devices, and how easy it is to pick those up and to get just kind of zoned in on that. Versus when we talk about like the schools and different programs being cut in different places for the arts, a lot of children will not pick up a paintbrush on their own, or they may not have one available, or whatever the thing may be, different mediums. Some children are going to do that naturally, and many may not unless someone encourages them to, or hands them a paintbrush, or hands them something to, and says, hey, let's sit down and do this together, and encourages them in that, and then builds that kind of artistic community for them in that space. And I think that most children have access to devices, but when we start cutting these programs, whether it's in schools or in the community, we're taking an opportunity away from young people. And I think that's so important. So you said that, and it really made me think, how much children need somebody to come in and kind of show them and guide them and encourage them to do something that's not a device.
Yep, I completely agree. I implement that within my family. We have, wild art nights, or we've got a farm as well, and we'll just go and put a big sheet of paper on the shop floor and just let them have at it, painting pumpkins, or building things out of clay. Just let them be. I've gone real kind of deep into some psychological things with children, and as they grow into adults. But children's brainwaves in essence are in a theta state from 0 to 7, and so they're in essence a dream state where their subconscious is being programmed. And I think that a lot of the screen time. I mean, heck, my kids play. Is it Roblox? I think, but they build these structures that are phenomenal. I'm like, good Lord. And, and it's not necessarily this huge, I don't let them play live online, but they'll show me these houses they build. I'm like, that's incredible. So the inform that's an art almost, just to watch them build these things, whether it's on a screen, but, we do kind of set boundaries on that. Like, okay, that's enough, because you can become addicted pretty quickly to something like that. And, just let them be free, take them out, walk around the farm. We've got cattle on our farm as well too, so we'll go ride around and look at them and walk through the woods and just get in touch with nature. It really does. Grounding is a daily practice in my life. We're so inundated with Wi-Fi and cellular devices and electricity and things like that our body gets all out of whack. And I think with adults and children, it really distorts kind of our reality almost of we're just being pressured and shown so much information and things that we don't take the time to settle back out and balance.
Yeah, our lives are so busy, and it seems like the more technology we have, or just the more the world just keeps turning, and it's like we just keep getting busier and busier and busier, and it's almost like, how much can we cram into our day? And to the fact that then we're all exhausted, and we're trying to have quality family time, but we are just so bogged down with busy. And I think that's what you do and what you're facilitating, and some of the things that we're talking about is it's giving an opportunity to just take a break and to enjoy life, to make friends, make new friends, have family time. I mean, I don't know if you've ever thought about doing family trivia nights, family karaoke nights, or maybe you do, and I haven't heard about it yet, but those things, like when you said wild art nights and things like that. But yeah, being able to just decompress and step back from the busy, step back from all of the mundane and our routine stuff, and being able to connect with each other and connect with the community, I think is so important. And something I have to remind myself of, I think quite often, is, hey, all of this stuff is fine. And you've got all these things going, but take a minute and breathe and just sit down with someone you love and have a really good conversation.
Yeah, I think it's in those moments of nothingness where true creativity and wisdom comes out. We're not designed to make decisions from our brain. Our brains are the last stop. The brain is what deconstructs all the knowledge we're getting with our eyeballs, the sensations we're getting through our gut, which is our second brain. It's got the same, if not more, amount of neurons. Our hearts. Those are what we're supposed to be listening to, and our brain just takes the energies and frequencies of the world and deconstructs it into something that's malleable. But a lot of people are really head heavy on how they live their life, and they're always pushing information out, and it doesn't allow for information to flow in. And so I think that it's in those moments of silence, or it's in those moments of togetherness with other people, to where something that you may be struggling with, it's in just that letting go, is when you're like, whew, well, maybe it's not as bad as I thought it was, or here's a great idea to shift from that mindset, or how to get myself out of this hole. You didn't think about it. Something sent, whatever it may be, sent that to you, and you captured it. But you couldn't have done that if you're just always, if the pipe's only flowing one way, which is out, you don't ever allow anything in.
Well, and I was thinking about, as we're talking about being connected and disconnected, and, finding those quieter times, and, unplugging our life a little bit. I grew up in a family that we played canasta. My grandparents and my dad and my mom. I was raised to play this game, and this game takes forever, and it's never about winning. But there were so many long hours of just sitting at the dinner table after dinner, hours and hours. They would just go from one game to the next. And you complain about your cards, but it isn't. Try to explain it to people who didn't grow up with that kind of ritual in their life. They don't understand necessarily that it has nothing to do with the game.
Jill, you made me think about one of my favorite childhood memories, and there's many of them, is every time I got to sit and listen to another adult, whether it be an older adult or, more in my parents' generation, tell stories from their life, talk about how they grew up, talk about things that happened to them. And I could sit and listen to that for hours. I didn't need television. I didn't need anything else. Like, I was fascinated to hear about what they had been through, what they had seen, the things that they've learned. And I wonder if we as a society do that much anymore. I wonder if are we sitting and talking with our children and with young people and relaying these things like we used to? Because I think that used to be a bigger thing.
Adults are busy too. Society seems to have made it to where it's, sometimes impossible for there just to be a single working parent. Just social inflation in general has created this environment where it's like, honey, you got to go back to work, or unfortunate, over the past 2 years didn't help with people's businesses getting shut down, or prices going through the roof, or things like that. But that's been a prevalent thing, since the 80s, where a lot of wives and husbands have both been working parents, and then sending their kids off to school. And sometimes those parents can't leave work at work either. A lot of that bleeds over, and it really fogs conversation, because you may be there, but you're not there. I've been accused of that a lot, and with working late nights and gigs and things like that, and preparing, and really doing a live event is something that's pretty intense, because if you mess up, it's not if something goes wrong, something goes wrong. So you really spend a lot of time preparing to make sure it's never going to go perfect, and you learn from your mistakes. But my wife is just like, be here now. That Ram Dass saying of just be here now. Forget about it all. Just be here now with your kids, with your family. And sometimes it really does take a strong partner to help that, whether that be a friend or a lover or whatever, a husband or wife or whatever it may be, just to get you out of your head, like we were saying earlier, and just to be here now. And then in that moment, you can really have a conversation with somebody, because other than that, it's just words coming out of your mouth and other person's words going into your ears. And you're not really processing from the head down. You're not really internalizing anything that anybody's saying. You're just kind of checking off this list of, did I talk to my children today about how their day was? Yep, done. Check that off. Let's go to bed. We'll wake up and do it all over again tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. Which again, back to what you do, Shep, it's really, I think, is that you're creating more outlets for people to maybe take a break and then come together and be in a moment, have a moment where they can just shut out the world and just take that moment for what it is. So tell me just a little bit about what you do and what you're going to do with us tonight, because we're gonna have a little bit of fun. We're gonna start things up here, and we're gonna put all of our outside worries. We're gonna put our Monday aside, because it is Monday, and it has been a Monday for some of us.
Bye Monday.
Bye Monday. So
Bye Monday.
help us be in the moment, Shep, on Lady Night of Coffee and Words, and help us to put it all aside.
All right. Well, I have some trivia questions prepared, so we can kind of just go with the flow on this. I enjoy that, and I figure we could start off with a little bit of trivia if you guys want to try that, and we can throw some questions out.
I'm gonna treat myself. If I get you right, I'm gonna have some Sour Patch Kids.
Ooh, look at that. That's what I'm talking about.
Getting wild.
So trivia is it's really morphed from start to finish. I think we've done over 150 rounds of trivia, and I've kind of got a pretty decent niche, but it's always changing. So we'll throw out some easy ones at first, and let's just obviously you can't just yeah. If y'all want to,
ladies, you'll have to put your phone away, or you're in trouble. You will be banned from the trivia.
All right, so let's see. Question number 1: Little Red Riding Hood, the wolf dressed up as who guessed grandmother?
Grandma.
Yeah,
Yay!
nice.
Really see our notepads. We're just gonna have to be honest here.
Yeah.
All right, question 2: Member of the Beatles who married Yoko Ono? That was, of course, John Lennon. Got that? Very nice.
Who didn't get that?
If anyone got that wrong, I'm disappointed.
Exactly. It's one of my motorcycles' names. My British motorcycle's name is Lennon.
How about it? I usually start off pretty easy with round 1 and round 2, and the questions I try pretty hard to go from easy to hardest, but it's difficult sometimes. But as the rounds go on, they do get a little more difficult. Baby goat.
Kids.
It's the same. Yeah, very nice.
Oh,
All right.
all folk around here, aren't we?
That's it. Question 4: What is the official state fruit of California?
No,
That was 5.
That was 5.
Oh, excuse me. That was
Stephen King
5.
first.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Stephen
Sarah's
King.
bonus first.
Yes, Stephen King was The Shining.
Yeah.
And the
that.
hotel it starts with an O.
Yeah. In the book,
Not get that.
Overlook Hotel.
Overlook.
Overlook.
Yes.
The hotel that inspired it is the Stanley Hotel.
Uh-huh. Boom.
She's going for extra special bonus.
Another trivia question for me there. Yeah.
That kid in
Sour
class. She's that kid.
All right. The official state fruit of California.
Guess orange.
Mm-mm.
I guessed orange.
Avocado?
Avocado.
That was on my list.
I put
but-
pomegranate.
Is it really?
Yeah. Way to go.
Did you really put pomegranate, Sarah? I was just kidding about pomegranate.
No, I put pomegranate.
Oh, that's awesome. I got avocado, really?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right.
How
They do
about that?
Wow. Okay.
See, isn't that just fun? There's a little drip of dopamine there when you guess something and get it right.
Cool.
It's always silly when I know something's on the border and I'll read an answer, I'll pause real quick and everybody, you can just cut the tension with a knife and then you say the answer and there's a big either just or yeah. Japanese conglomerate used to be the number one seller of laptop computers, now no longer makes personal. Toshiba.
I guess Toshiba.
Yes!
Nice.
The only one I could think of because I had a Toshiba.
There we go.
I was debating between that and Sony, and I was like, no,
Yeah.
for some reason Toshiba stuck in my head.
Aha. All right.
Yay,
Let's
dopamine, woo!
lightning round. All right. Let's knock this out here. We'll start with theater and arts. Let's see. We'll do 6 real quick ones: music, movies, theater and arts, world history, and literature, and one more. All right. I'll just blow through them. Here we go. Who's the musician? No, excuse me. What studio in London did the Beatles record a large portion of their songs?
Abbey Road.
Yeah, nailed it. All right. Here we go. This may be, let's see if you guys can remember, maybe way back. Running between 1959 and 1973, what was the name of the ranch in the Western TV series Bonanza? Anybody watch? Yeah, there
What
we
was
go. Ponderosa.
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 Yeah.
Let's see. What
We're
artist?
not that old.
What artist? Well, I don't remember a lot of my kids' TV shows. What artist is responsible for the painting of the Sistine Chapel?
Oh,
Michelangelo.
Hey, there we go. There we go.
I just
All
like
right.
his sculpture.
Here we go. What state? Here's some world history and geography. What state is home to the tallest mountain in the United States? And for +10, what is the name of its peak?
It is Alaska, and it's Mount McKinley.
Yeah, specifically Mount Denali, but it is in that mountain range, that McKinley. So the highest peak is that. All right. In 1949, this author wrote a classic novel about a dystopian future. The book was titled 1984.
Orson Welles.
George Orwell.
George Orwell.
I got the
There
or
we
right.
go.
Karen knows that one.
Oh,
I was gonna
Bill
say,
knows
it's-
that one too.
It's just out of
Just
reach
it.
on my bookshelf. I could go get
What was it?
or George Orwell.
George Orwell.
George
Oh, I
yes,
missed the question.
yes.
Sorry, for some
George
reason my
Orwell.
earbud just went out. But yeah.
All right, we can do one last, and we've mentioned this name at the beginning of the podcast, but this is an unscramble. All right, it'll take probably 2 minutes to figure it out. So you ready? Get your pad and paper.
Oh,
Your
okay.
pad and paper. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you a first and a last name, but I've jumbled all the letters up.
Okay.
The number of letters nor the actual letters in the clue correspond with the answer. I've taken first and last name and just pulled them out of a hat and made 2 new words, unscrambled them. Give me the first and last name of a very, very famous musician. Lives. 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 Peelstree. P as in Paul. E as in elephant. E as in elephant. S.
Wait.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Ready? All right. So the first one is Liv as in
Oh, we got it.
Victor, E-S.
We're good.
Got it.
Karen's
Peel
already
Street.
Yes.
answered
Yeah,
it.
we're good.
Presley.
Yep.
Did we get it?
Well done. Well done.
Yeah. There he is, right there. Look at that
Yeah.
stud muffin. Look at that stud muffin. How about that?
Well done. Well
Well
done.
done. So there's a little taste of
Darren,
trivia.
thank you. Thank you
for
very
ladies
much.
only.
Thank you
Ladies
very
only.
much.
Thank you
Here
very
you
much.
go. Here you go. Oh, yeah,
Thank you
get that
very
lip up, right? Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
we all have a personal connection to Elvis, don't we, Sarah? And
Yeah.
Karen, well, you know.
Well, I would just like to take this moment to say that Cheryl's nickname is Sherelvis, and that is
Oh, how about that?
online if you would like to follow her. And she has an extensive Elvis collection in
I
her
do.
home.
I have a whole Elvis
That's
room.
amazing.
Yes.
Oh,
That's where,
wow.
yeah.
We're
And
really getting into it now.
Karen was so sweet to have gifted me an Elvis sticker, and it resides on the back of my SUV right above the Elvis license plate. So yeah, he's got his home
There's some
there.
real connections here. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna
telling you. I'm telling you.
wow. So have you been to his Memphis mansion?
I'm from Memphis, so
Okay.
yeah.
All
I even
right.
have blue suede shoes, and
Out of
I
town.
have
Are you wearing them right now?
the Elvis TCB jacket from Lansky, the original clothier to the king.
Wow.
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but Karen, that picture. Please tell the story of that picture, Karen, because it's even more amazing than anything I could have purchased, because that's legit.
It's an original print. I'm the president of Tennessee Professional Photographers Association. That print, that's an original print photographed in the studio by William Spears in 1956, when Elvis was unknown. He
Oh
had
my
been,
gosh.
yeah. And so when he retired, he gifted that print. It was a studio print that there was 10 images total, and that was number 10. And he gifted that to the association. So each year, as the new president, that's instead of passing the baton, we pass Elvis. So he'll live with me for a year, and then I have to pass him on to the next
Aw.
person, and I'll be sad. But
But when it's
I
time to
bet.
pass them, you've moved and they can't find you. So.
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh no.
Or-
In
She's
a vault
disappeared.
in
Where's
Cheryl's
Karen?
house. Yeah.
or I have, Cheryl has come to visit me, and he mysteriously disappeared.
I
Here's the
don't know
police
where he
report. It
went.
was stolen out of my house. So.
Yeah.
So is there some sort of ceremonial activities that go on with the passing of Elvis?
It's when we pass the torch, when the presidency transfers at our
Okay.
fall convention. So the outgoing president makes a presentation and passes it on. So it was passed on to me.
There's a small patch of shag carpet that goes along with it. So, I'm joking.
There's no shag carpet.
I'm kidding.
Oh, that's silly. Well, I've had a blast tonight with you ladies. Thanks for including me on
Thank
ladies'
you
night.
for being the token male. We have loved hanging out
Yes,
with you.
great.
Well, Shep, where can people find you if they want to follow you online?
It's at Your Vibes Entertainment everywhere. I had a podcast. I'm relaunching that. I have 50 episodes from season 1. I'm relaunching in January for season 2. It's at Your Vibes Podcast, and that's on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, pretty much any listening platform. I run that through Anchor, and then social media, Facebook and Instagram, at Your Vibes Entertainment. I do have a TikTok. I've got like 2 videos still working my way up to that one, I think, as a lot of us are. But that's it. Yep. And you can find me every Thursday from I usually get to the brewery about 5:30 because there's some bonus points involved if you get there before 6. Every Thursday it starts 7 to 9. And then you can check my Facebook events. I'm about to update it for December, but you can check my Facebook events for any upcoming things I have. Publicly, I don't post any private events, but any public events I have coming up. And then I do have a partner of mine. He's my bookkeeper and my partner in help and in crime, David Gerke, who helps me with bingo every other Sunday at Pump Free and Beard from 12:30 to 1:30. And Sarah's son, Sean, is quickly advancing his way to helping as well. He has been a huge help, and I can't say enough about his personality. He is something special, and he does a great job too. And I'm very, it makes my heart happy that he gets up there and does it. It's for he's a young kid, and he cares a lot. He's very particular about the way he does it too. He means business, man. Like, he's not up there just goofing around. Like, he does a great job. So we'll definitely be leaning on him more and more as we go and as things get busier. So we do appreciate y'all coming every other Sunday too and supporting. It's great.
Thank you. And thank you for letting Sean MC. He loves it.
Cool. I'm glad he does. It makes me happy.
Well, Karen, where can we follow your photography?
I'm at Karen Fox Photo on Instagram, which admittedly I do not post as much as I should. I'm trying to fix that. Facebook and Instagram, you can find me there, and then call me.
Yeah. For sure. Jill, where can we follow your art and all your fabulous stuff besides coffee and words that you can find weekly?
Right. You can find me at jilllorraineturpin.com. Most of my social handles are the same, and I have a webtoon that's Jill Lorraine on Webtoons and on Tapas.
Awesome. Sherelvis.
Elvis. Thank you, baby.
Where can we find you? Where can we find you?
Thank you, baby. So I'm still building my website, but it is CherylMorganOfficial.com. And I am also on the socials, TikTok. I admit it, on TikTok. I just started back on TikTok because my first account got banned. But I'm on TikTok and Insta at CMDOG. It's at CMDOG. That's it.
All right. This has been fun. I still have some Sour Patch Kids left, so I didn't eat the whole bowl. We're good.
I think you won.
Sour Patch. Yeah.
Yeah, seriously. We don't need to go over that. We know she won. That's fine.
Yeah.
So we had to give it to you.
I stopped
Gotta give
counting
it.
points,
You won at musicals, so I had nothing.
I love it.
Well, thank you again, Shep, for coming on and for talking to us about community and inspiring us on ways that we can try to connect more with each other and with our fellow people in the community and with our families and our kids. I think it's really important. And you kind of inspired me to make sure that I include more fun, in my life. And yeah.
Yes. I love that. Just have fun. I love that.
Yeah, that's where the name derived. It's your vibes. I spent a long time thinking about it and kind of chopping out kind of what was going to fit, but I wasn't service to others over service to self is how I live my life.